all morning here on Saturday Breakfast. We've been doing our best to put a little smile on your face because, after all, tomorrow is officially World Laughter Day. And someone who has been up all night making people laugh with his 24-hour online comedy show called the Watsonathon is Bristol comedian Mark Watson. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Hi there. So I've been doing this for nearly 13 hours straight, and you tell me tomorrow is World Laughter Day, in fact.
Well, I thought you knew that.
I didn't know that. It's a coincidence. I'm 24 hours out after all this.
You're ahead of the curve. That's what you are. Just start sticking the hashtag on it and you're right there before everyone else.
I'm paving the way for World Laughter Day, yeah.
You are. Now, I've been watching you. I checked in. So you started this at 9 o'clock last night.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
right.
woke
Although the
up...
idea of night and day doesn't really mean a lot anymore, but I believe that's true, yes.
Yes. Well, actually, one of the things that you did well, and it kind of heralded the moment when I then had to go and sit at the chair ready to do the radio show, was welcoming in dawn with someone playing a trumpet, which I thought was a rather nice way.
Lovely. Going through the night on a sort of marathon event is quite grueling, and the moment when you see the sun start to creep through is lovely. And as you say, we were lucky to have a trumpeter as well.
Yeah, which is brilliant. So what have we missed? What has everyone been missing over the last 13 hours? I mentioned the trumpet, but...
I don't know where to start. I've had my mind read by someone from Vegas. I went over to Ross Noble in Australia, and he unveiled a new game show that he's converted his shed into a studio for. Somebody's made their house into a Greg's. Someone else. It's hard to describe. It really is. I've been
people
doing
are bonkers.
Listen, I think people have always been bonkers, but we're not getting any less bonkers during the current situation. And what this show is all about is to harness that mad energy just for 24 hours and try to have some fun of some kind.
So what have you got to kind of... So now we've made it through the day. You've probably have you had several breakfasts? I saw you having to take a toilet break and the person on screen just kept talking. Yeah,
the trouble is I've had little bits of breakfast several times. It's really hard to get a proper food and stuff, but I'm being very well looked after. My girlfriend's here. I get a bite of banana here and a mouthful of a bagel there, and I'll just keep on pushing on, basically.
Okay, and what have you got coming up? Because people can just join this. You've got a stream on Twitch. People can join you at any point during the day and donate as well. But what will they see?
Yeah, and I hope they will. It's for various charities, 3 different charities. Well, what they'll see is anyone's guess. We've had unbelievable stuff. We've had all sorts of people like Adam Hills, as I say, Ross Noble, Sarah Millican. Too many for me to remember, really. But we've also had a lot of wild tangents, like people doing odd stuff in their garden. So it's probably, you won't see an actual stand-up show, I think that's fair to say. But if you're interested in sort of the second half of a weird carnival stroke sleepover of comedy, I do think it's worth going on Twitch for. Yeah.
It definitely is. I was on there also at the point with the lady whose room was like one of those places that you can't get out of. Yeah, an escape room.
An Australian comic converted their house into an escape room, and the audience had to. It's very interactive. The thing with Twitch is that the audience are chipping in the whole time via text. So you know,
like that.
It would be impossible otherwise to do this because you rely so much on the laughter and the audience atmosphere. But in a weird way, the internet does replicate that better than you think.
Yeah, well, we can all kind of comment with our own funny, daft, or just, the little running commentary. It's good. If you've never done anything like this and watched anything like this, now is a really good time. And as you say, we must mention the reason why you're staying up for this ridiculous length of time and only having a bite of banana here and a snatch of a bagel there, is you're doing this for charities. Tell us about the 3 that you're doing it for.
Yeah, there are 3 charities. Fair Share, which is a food charity. The Hostage Income Generation Network. Sorry, I keep saying hostage. It is hospice. It's for hospices.
Yes.
But about 3 times tonight I've said hostage instead. Anyway, it's for
You've
hospices.
been up a long time. It's okay.
I have. So a third to a food charity, a third to a hospice charity, and then the remaining third goes to this hardship fund for performers whose incomes have gone. So it's a sort of 3-way effort. And we're about 20,000 or something, which is more than I really
over 21.
thought.
Yeah, which is brilliant.
That's amazing. I'm really happy with that. But equally, there is quite a long time to go, so I'd love to see if I can push it that bit higher, obviously.
Well, I know you were talking about footballers. I was sort of trying to watch whilst I was playing music at the same time, and there was a bit of chat. Could footballers help in any way?
Well,
about Bristol City? A few people.
I can't help thinking about it just because I love Bristol City so much, obviously. And there's someone still is drawing Premier League footballers with the hope of managing to sell a caricature to an actor. And of course, City are not quite a Premier League club yet, but if we could get a Bristol City footballer to make a big donation, as a sort of, that would basically make my life, I think. Let's see.
Go on, put it out there, state it. It would make Mark Watson's life. So come on.
I think so. I'm very, very, the club is absolutely in my bones, and I've been very nicely treated by, they've always been really nice to me. Get on a bit with the manager, Lee Johnson, but of course, I'm at arm's length to all these people because they're basically heroes to me. So if the club can do anything, I'd be absolutely delighted. Yeah, of course, what they should be doing today is playing a match because it's Saturday, but those days are behind us.
Hey, yes, yeah. There could be virtual football on your Twitch stream. Who knows what's going to come up between now and the end of all of it and 9 o'clock tonight. Mark, I'm going to let you go back, and you're going to go back and pick up the reins so people can start watching you on there. I've noticed in the comments on Twitch someone saying, actually, you're on Radio Bristol right now, which is kind of funny.
Absolutely am.
The world is weird how all of this technology is.
It's mad, isn't it? I'm going to immediately leave and go back to that stream now.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. I hope we've given you a little break out from all of it. That's Mark Watson there. It's the Watsonathon. You can find it on social media, #Watsonathon. And as he says, he's doing it to raise money for 3 really good charities. And brilliant that the total is climbing. It's at over 21,000. He's still got another 11 or so hours to go. And you can join him and see it and watch it, take part in all of the fun online. And, if there are any footballers listening or you happen to know one, he would love to hear from you.
But now it's time to talk to Mark Watson. He's doing the Watsonathon. He wanted to raise 20 grand, raised 21,719 so far.
Already.
And he's on the line now. Mark, how are you?
Yes, I'm going to give a grand and a half of it back, I suppose. That's the only solution.
Only fair and only right. So is this on your show now as well as our show?
No, that wasn't possible apparently, so I've had to step away. I've left Rufus Hound as my deputy while I talk to you guys.
Very nice. A good deputy in many ways.
I was going to say, does Rufus Hound normally deputise for you in all aspects of life?
No, not in most personal matters, to be honest. We're not really like-for-like swap.
It isn't, replacing number 7, Mark Watson, number 15, Rufus Hound. You're going to get
not
different,
that sort of situation.
Yeah, you're going to get different things, aren't you?
I think you bring Hound on for me if you need to shore up the midfield with 20 minutes to go.
Nice. Yeah. Now, Mark, what number 24-hour? Didn't you do a 48-hour one once? What number show is it? 36. What?
It's hard to know how many times. I think I've done it about 12 times, but I've never attempted it all online before, of course.
Yeah, you have to have a good broadband connection. I'm hoping that's holding up.
It's held up very well. That was one of the biggest worries, but it does seem to be all right, yeah.
Very good. And what have you had on so far? What's been going
Full
on?
list, please.
Full list.
Full list. We had a game show hosted by Ross Noble in his garage.
Oh, fantastic.
We've had hypnotists and mind readers. A bloke has made his house into a Greg's. All sorts of stuff. The general theme is, a bit like with you, trying to replace the stuff we used to enjoy in the world.
Oh no, we're enjoying it even more, Mark. We're enjoying.
Yeah, you're having a good pandemic by the time of it. Yeah.
I was going to say, obviously you're raising a lot of money for charity, Mark, as well. But it's also excellent for your career, isn't it? It's really, really, really giving you some spotlight here.
Oh, nothing could be better, yeah, apart from if I still had a touring career or any other sources of income, I suppose.
Oh, yes, of course. You really do need that as well.
So the motivation, Mark, was to raise money partly for artists who, because this is an issue, isn't it? For lots of people who perform live, it's just overnight
Yeah,
stopped.
That's right. The fundraising aim is 3 ways, actually, between performers and then a food charity and a hospice charity, just because, the problem is everyone needs entertainers to try and do fun stuff and raise money, but also a lot of entertainers themselves are in trouble. So there's need wherever you look, and the only fair way seemed to be to do a sort of 3-way. It's impossible because almost every charity is under the cosh at the moment.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
But we're doing our best.
Yeah.
Do you think that, how a lot of people are saying, the top Premier League players should be, having a wage cut? Are there calls for Michael McIntyre to...
Anne and Detko, I think, could stick their hand in their pocket.
Yeah, just to help out the clubbing comics.
I don't know. I think a lot of them have been to some extent, but there's not much of a formal structure for it. All that there is really is this hardship fund, which is what the third of this show is going to, and then lots of other bits and pieces. But there's no obvious way to do it. And it's like any industry. There are some people at the top doing very well, and then a lot of people below them whose income is really precarious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good of you. You've got loads of stuff on though as well, haven't you, Mark? Other than the touring, I think you were about to go on tour, were you? But you've got a book, you've got a couple of books out and all sorts of stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, although again, I do have a new novel coming out, but that's been delayed because of we keep coming back to it, the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was about to go on tour. Should have been in Australia, the festivals there. So it's been a big sort of loss to me, but there are people in a much worse situation. I'm trying to sort of help with that a bit.
And Bristol City were pushing, weren't they?
We were pushing.
Lee Johnson was pushing.
I think Johnson has got an awful lot out of the squad. He really has. But we were just adrift to the playoffs, so maybe it's a mixed up. I know a Leeds fan, and he's obviously from day to day got no idea whether he should be furious. So they're just existing in this limbo.
Max has got a brilliant idea. Max has got a brilliant idea to fix football.
Well, no, I think other people have had this idea first. But
like all Max's good ideas, someone's had it first.
Pretty much. Danny Baker's had all of them. I think if the Premier League can cope with 3 more teams next season, then you could just promote everybody who should get promoted and, work out the playoffs somehow. And then all the other divisions would have the same number of teams in that they'd normally have. It would just be the Premier League who have to cope. Then whenever the next season is, 6 teams go down, which is kind of fun. And then it'll all just sort of level out. So you just have no relegation.
It would be a hell of a season with 6 going down, wouldn't it? That'd be a lively old year.
It'd be good. Now, we are going to play. Anyway. We're going to play what the EFL ask Max and I to sort out the results each week.
Yes.
For them from Championship, League 1, League 2. Yeah. So we're going to play while you're on the air. It won't take very long, Mark. We're going to play. It's Bristol City v Preston North End, which I believe is your match today. That should be on. Max is going to roll. Max is going to roll for Bristol City. I'm going to roll for Preston.
No, legally you do the home teams, don't you?
Oh, I do the home teams. That's
because I've got more of the James Alexander-Gordon. Know where to tone it after the.
So, Mark, what would be your lineup today if you were watching Bristol City? Can you think of any players? Can you remember any footballers?
I just about remember football. You're looking at Bentley in goal, although we do have a couple of good keepers. Hunt, De Silva, Callis at the back, and then and so on. What we've been playing is he's experimented with various formations, but we've got Naki Wells up front now as well as Jeju. We've got Nicholas Eliasson. He uses a lot of different formations. This would have been a big game because us v Preston could have been a playoff decider sort of thing.
Of course, now put all that into the dice. I'm about to roll. Okay. And I'm rolling for you. I'm rolling for you now. A 6 is a 0. Everything else is goals. Mark, here we go. Okay. Here we go. Good luck. It's 3. Bristol City 3.
Preston North End 0.
Oh, that's terrific.
Wow, what a terrific. Can we get some response from you there, Mark? Any reaction
I'm delighted.
to
in these games, you've got to show up, and they knew what they needed to do, and that's us into the playoffs, I believe. So, Ashton Gate is absolutely on fire after that.
Mark, how tired are you currently? Because you started at 9 last night. I once did a 6-day radio show, but I got to play music, so that made quite a difference. You've got to be quite on the whole time.
6 days is a bit stupid, though, mate, to be honest. You shouldn't have done that.
It was quantity, not quality, I'll be honest.
I'm all right. I am sort of been pulled back into the show, so I suppose my brain is slightly fried, but I'm not having the worst time.
No, good. No, that's really good.
And generally, how you find it? Do you know what? I listened to... You did a really good podcast with Ellis James and John Robbins. I know it's opposition called... Was it How to Cope? What's it called?
Yeah, How Do You Cope?
How Do You Cope? Yeah. And I thought your episode was really interesting, and it was pre-pandemic, right? And the pandemic is difficult for a lot of people listening now. It's lots of people are on their own or have had to change their lives or are much more isolated than they were. How are you finding it?
It's been very strange, personally and professionally. It's been a huge kind of adjustment, like it has been for everyone. And I'm just trying to do stuff like this to keep some semblance of fun and creativity, like sort of anyone, I suppose, and like everyone, just hoping for a time when things return to a bit of normality.
Yeah, I mean, this what's I found most strange is the rhythm of the year has gone. You've got the rhythm of the summer, which is all festivals. Latitude's gone. Machynlleth should have been this weekend in Wales. Obviously, the Edinburgh Festival, all the Australian festivals. Once that rhythm goes, it's quite discombobulating, isn't it?
It's very strange for everybody. Yeah, you have to almost accept this is. My brother and I were saying in snooker terms, this is more or less a re-rack. The frame is irrelevant. We just have to basically get through this and then start with a proper year all over again.
Yeah, snooker would have been good for your... Does anyone play snooker on your 24-hour show? Mark, that would have been good, a 24-hour time.
We've yet to fit that in. We've still got quite a bit to get through.
Yeah. We're going to let you get back to it. How do we donate money, Mark?
Basically, there's a GoFundMe, which you'll easily... If you go to my Twitter, you can see where to watch it and how to donate. Or, of course, you can donate and you don't have to watch it. But the Twitter is Watson Comedian.
Brilliant, that's fantastic. Thanks so much for coming on, and well done, Bristol City, and obviously picked a great team there, Mark, because a 3-0 win.
Yeah, well, again, never doubt it. Never in doubt.
And what have you got in the next 2 hours if people are bored of us and want to go to you?
We're about to welcome a quite special guest, but I can't really say who that is without blowing it all.
Oh, that's a shame. Any clues? Can we use it as a quiz for the next half
hour? It is somebody from the world of music, I'll give you that much.
Narrows it down.
Is it male or female?
A male figure from the world of music.
Over 40?
Yes, over 40.
Over 60?
No further information.
Sir Elton John.
I reckon it's Brian May.
Oh, okay. We've got
You'll have to tune in to find out.
Tune in to find out on Mark Watson's Twitter feed, and he's on Twitch. And go to that GoFundMe page and donate all the money that you can. Thanks so much for joining us, Mark.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Cheers, good man, Mark. Take care. Mark Watson there.
Sounded tired, didn't he, Max?
That's quite the duration. I did
6 days.
I did 6 days, right?
How good was this day 4?
Do you know what? As I started to hallucinate, it got significantly better. Yeah. It really did.
Local radio as well. I suppose you had to play the Eagles quite a lot.
I did play the Eagles a lot because it was 100. It was 121 hours, about 6 days.
Yeah,
and you could have 15 minutes. According to Guinness, you could have 15 minutes off every 8 hours.
Okay.
So at midnight, I was in a shopping centre, right? Artificial lights.
Lovely.
At midnight, I'd get in a little camp bed that was in front of the microphones, and I would get in there at midnight and I'd go straight to sleep. Okay. Slept well. I was mid-20s.
And that was the best bit, people said.
The really good bit of the show, yeah.
Highlight.
They'd play 2 songs. They'd play 15 minutes of songs, right? And then for those 8 hours in the night, I'd basically just get hit with a stick and I'd say, I'm not. I think one of my links was, I'm not a pigeon. And then I just went back to sleep.
Nice.
Right? And then about 8 o'clock in the morning, I would have 15 minutes off, have a shower. Right, and then the Debenhams made a fry up. I think Debenhams. I think so. There was a cafe there. So I'd have a fry up every day of Debenhams, and then people would join me for the show, and it was for children in need, it was really quite liberating.
But also your career as well.
It was quite good for my career, yeah. I was mainly considering my career, but by day 6, and then I went to the pub for a pint after doing 6 days.
Yeah, lovely.
And I had one
Remember
pint.
pubs, Max?
Right,
do you remember pubs?
Yes,
they were good, weren't they?
I had one pint, and then when you're so tired, your legs start twitching.
Oh, yeah.
And then I did 17 hours. Absolutely, it was brilliant.
I went to the
greatest sleeps.
Le Mans 24 hour. I went to once. Did you? Stayed up for the whole thing. Okay. The motor racing. It was good fun. I like my sleep, Max.
Yeah, honestly,
nothing's good enough to.
I did suggest trying to repeat it. I've suggested to the bosses.
Did you hear?
Yeah, I said, why not?
Okay, maybe a whole test match.
TalkSport 2. I'll do TalkSport 2. I'll do. I don't know the record.
A whole test match you could do, or the complete Tour de France, not sleeping throughout the 3 weeks.
I said I'd do 10 days. Is what I said I'd do. But I said if I fell asleep, we just crack on with it.
If you've been listening to BBC Radio Wales, which obviously you have, you will know that it would have been the Machynlleth 10th anniversary of this fantastic comedy festival, which has introduced a lot of new names to comedy over the years. But obviously, with lockdown happening, it's not physically happening. Yeah. But it's kind of happening through Radio Wales because we're getting a lot of the people who would have been there on, and a lot of comedians. Wyn Evans has been telling some really appalling jokes over the last week, which have made me laugh, every single one of them. And now I am delighted to say that we are joined by a man I have met before, you know.
Yes.
Yes, I have. And he is in the middle of his 24-hour joke-a-thon, but it's like Watsonathon. Yeah. And he's been up since 9 o'clock last night, on air, broadcasting, and he's joining us now. Mark Watson.
Hello, Carol. How are you?
How are you, more importantly, sir?
I'm actually fairly upbeat. The sun is shining outside. We're sort of tunnelled all the way through the night. We're having fun. Yeah, I'm sort of a bit wired, but it's just one of those things. It feels a bit like an all-nighter when I was a bit younger. It's one of those.
I remember those. I remember a lot of things when I was a bit younger. Oh, heck. Things I should actually try to forget. Now, I would imagine that the hours from sort of 3, maybe 2:30 in the morning to 6, are they the hardest?
Yeah, normally they are, but we were very lucky this time around. We had a couple of amazing contributions, like Ross Noble popped up and did something. A comedian turned her house into an escape room. Having all the comedians locked into their homes has led to some incredible kind of creativity. Whereas if you're in a room together, you are just slowly getting more tired and depressed. So actually, in a way, online 2 to 6 a.m. isn't that different from any other time.
Well, I think that's a time that would hit me, to be perfectly honest, Mark. It would be, oh man.
Yeah, it depends on the audience. A lot of people have, been chipping in and stuff. I've had some lovely stuff.
So how is it working then? Because you're sort of using a new piece of technology. It's not just like one of those Zoom conferences, is it? What is it that you're doing?
A very clever gentleman called Rob has built an entire thing like Zoom, but it's a special thing to host this. So it's similar to Zoom, but people can go in and out with multiple people, all sorts of stuff. But all it is it's on Twitch. So you just have to go to this website called Twitch and you can see it all streamed. And it is frantic. Sometimes lots of things are happening. At the moment, I've left to do this. Yeah. So a children's entertainer is entertaining people with a cactus, but it's very hard to say any more than that. Really.
And if you are watching the Watsonathon on Twitch, you can also send in jokes and send in questions and so on. Is that right?
Well, I mean, yeah, you can send in jokes, but we've got through quite a lot, it's fair to say. You can certainly send in suggestions. The Twitch thing is very interactive, so audience members there's a constant chat going on, which means you can do anything with it, basically. So once you're on there, so we've had a lot of contributions from people who, for example, in an hour's time, we're getting two people are getting married, 2 guys are getting married who were meant to have got married during this, and then they couldn't because of the whole pandemic thing. Yeah. So we're doing a sort of wedding for them. So we're getting a lot of people chipping in with everyone's going to get a suit on, all this sort of business.
Oh, I love that. That is absolutely lovely. Oh,
well, you'd be very welcome to drop by when do you finish, Carol?
Okay, I can put one of my many wedding dresses on then.
Oh, that'd be extremely
to kind of join in. I'm sure I could fit into one of them somewhere along the line. Now I'm joined by Nathan Sussex, is my other half during this show. Mark.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Nathan, not bearing up too badly.
You're doing incredibly well.
Well, thank you. It's been fun, actually, I must say. It's been just wonderful to have so many talented people involved, and a lot of the time I'm just basically letting people do it.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Now, Mark, I looked up when I last saw you. Well, I think I've seen you since then. But do you remember we did a Christmas special of Odd One In?
Yeah, I do remember that. I certainly remember meeting you because because you're Carol Vorderman, but I don't remember much about the show.
No,
do you?
I don't remember much about the show either. Because when I looked it up and I went, what was that? Odd One In, and it was our Bradley Walsh,
as always,
who is the nation's sweetheart man. Peter Andre. So this is nearly 10 years ago. Jason Manford.
Yeah.
You and me. Can you remember any of the rules or what on earth it was about?
No, can I? All I can remember is that I got a selfie with Peter Andre, and I couldn't be sure why I was impressed. I felt like it was impressive to meet Peter Andre, but I didn't know who I was going to show the selfie to. Really.
Well, you're winning there.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it was some sort of nonsense where you had to. It was a quiz format of some kind, wasn't it?
It was. Yet again.
Our sort of, well, I don't know how old you are, but at my sort of age, even you look back at your own CV and think, what was that?
I do. My mum, bless her heart, when she was alive, she had this one of her jobs was, because she worked for me for decades, was to add to the CV. Oh. Well, it was like a whole ream of paper, when she did it, because being a mum as well, Mark, she didn't miss anything out.
No, of course. I mean, yeah, my mum is a bit similar, a real hoarder of newspaper cuttings. She probably knows I'm doing this now.
Yeah, I could have been cover of the Sunday Times magazine. That would be round the back. If I was on page 7 of the Real Journal, that's yes, there it is. Yeah. Top of the scrapbook.
Oh,
that was my mother.
She's made it.
It was whatever was important to her, but it was funny. Right, now then, so you're finishing at 9:00 tonight. You've got a wedding to perform and all sorts, and you're raising money for charities. So how do people contribute to that?
If you go on my Twitter, you'll see all the links and stuff, a fundraising link and a link to actually watch the thing. And you can very simply go on GoFundMe. And then we've got about 20,000 £20,000, which is decent. It's for a food charity and a hospice charity, and also a hardship fund for people in my industry. So it goes 3 ways. And people's generosity in what has been a difficult time for everyone is amazing to me. And I'm just desperate to try and get that tally up a little bit more. And then I said the final few hours. It's still about 8 and a bit hours, but it feels like nothing now.
Yeah, but if you say final few, then you're like
Exactly.
there
It's
in
all
your head,
psychological, isn't it?
So in your honour, we've asked our wonderful gang who listen in every Saturday lunchtime, who we love, the answer to this. Why did the chicken cross the road? Here are some answers for you, Mark.
Well, we've got why did the chicken cross the road? To avoid his ex.
I like that.
Yeah, and
I
we
like
got
that,
some
yeah.
classics here. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because the sun was in his eyes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Boom, boom.
All right. Yeah.
We have a variety of answers.
Oh, we've got a plethora of chickens here.
We have.
This is from Norman. Why did the chicken take sellotape across the road? It was stuck to his foot.
Fair enough. It was involuntary.
They just get better and better, don't they, Mark?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Norman, no. Mark, that wasn't our best offering, but it was an offering.
It's worth something.
I'm sending Norman to the naughty step. But wishing you all the very best. Keep going till 9
Brilliant
o'clock
stuff.
and
Thank
all the
you.
best. And hopefully you'll be at the Comedy Festival if it's on next year in Machynlleth.
I think we're all looking forward to that happening again. We really are. Yeah.
Be wonderful. All the best, Mark.
Thank you, and good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Cheers, then. Bye. Thank you.